Welcome to the fourth installment of Moses Mikaelyan's story about his experience in America. As you may have noticed, I am not a documentary filmmaker. I'm just a guy who started a YouTube channel to tell some of the ghost stories that I grew up with as a child, and not really stories, are actual experiences. So Moses reached out to me because he had seen the videos I'd posted about my family's experiences. Now, we hadn't actually hung out since 2014 when Staples closed. After all, he's in his early 30s, I'm in my late 50s. We had very separate lives, but I always followed him, like all of you, on Facebook and watched with growing interest his expertise in drone videos and managing those drones precisely. I knew he was a good IT guy, and I worked with him briefly at another company. So when Moses and I met in August of 2020, just to catch up, he wanted to tell me, of course, about his own rather mystical experience, and it had to do with finding a missing person from Oak Creek early in 2020. Now, Moses is very proud of this, and he showed me, and I'll share the screen with you. He showed me this medal that he had received from the Oak Creek Police, a medal of appreciation for his efforts. And he showed me, or showed me the link for the stories about how we'd found this person. This was in the Steamboat pilot in early January. Let me read a bit of the story to you. Drone pilot Moses Mikaelyan knew what he had to do after friends alerted him to a plea for help from relatives of 25-year-old who went missing while traveling from Oak Creek to Steamboat Springs on December 29, 2019. "We are a tight community," Mikaelyan said. "We are like a big family. When one of us is missing somewhere in the snow, for me, there was no question. There was no question about what I should do." As soon as he realized he could help, Mikaelyan grabbed his drone and began searching. "I don't think there's anything special about me choosing to go out there and help, or doing it without asking for anything, because somebody was missing, and the family had already lost so much," Mikaelyan said. "I think it is a very normal and expected thing for somebody to do." Well, it isn't, but Moses did. Bogle had all been missing for 2 days when Mikaelyan's search began January 1st. The next day, another pilot, James David Gabriel, and his twin brother Raymond joined the search for the Oak Creek man. And on January 2nd, Bogle's car was found 130 feet off the road on the Steamboat side of the Oak Creek Canyon, thanks to the drone pilot's efforts. "I thought they did a great job because without their help, I don't think I would have found him," said Bogle's girlfriend. "I'm really thankful that they found him. Once it got to like day 3, I was already panicked that I was going to find him because of snow and the conditions." Well, the story goes on. Moses told me the story in detail about how he found this person. And he wasn't boasting. To him, it was almost a magical experience, hence him reaching out to me thanks to the stories that I'd posted about our ghost experiences. But it wasn't just the local paper that covered, and it wasn't just the Oak Creek police that were thankful, or people that knew that poor missing man. He also got press attention as Denver 7 covered his story. Here, let me go there.
We begin tonight with drones. They've been seen in the skies over eastern Colorado for weeks now, captivating people here and across the nation.
And tomorrow, several Colorado law enforcement agencies will meet with the FAA to try to get more information on where they're coming from. Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Allen.
And I'm Tom Mustin. Glad you're with us tonight. And while some are worried about the sightings, drones are being used for good. Last week, they played a key role in a search mission in a steamboat.
Denver 7's Lance Hernandez spoke with drone operators cracking cases, but worried these night sightings could mean a crackdown on drones.
I've been flying this drone for 3 years now. This is drone number 4.
Moses Mikaelyan has captured many gorgeous vistas with his drone. He says they have many beneficial uses, from helping analyze crops to search and rescue. He used his drone last week to search for a missing man and found the victim's car overturned in a steep ravine.
And I can see why nobody could see it from the road. First of all, it was about 100 feet down.
He noticed there were no footprints.
And I kind of panicked and was freaking out a little bit. I looked at my phone. I didn't have cell service, so I flagged the car down. And I asked the lady that was driving to call 911.
Now, Mikaelyan and several other pilots are looking at organizing a volunteer drone search and rescue group.
We're still discussing it.
He says he's aware of the drone sightings in northeastern Colorado.
We are at a high terror alert right now. okay? And there are 8-foot drones flying around, and the FBI and the FAA don't know who's flying them. If that's not concerning, I don't know what is concerning.
He says as someone who flies drones himself, he's worried.
Because, you know, if you spread panic about, hey, what's going on with these drones and what they're doing, eventually people are going to be, you know what? We don't want any kind of drones anywhere.
One thing is certain. Moses will be keeping his eye on tomorrow's meeting to see what the FAA might say. Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
So imagine my surprise when in early August 2020, I do my thing, go to Facebook like so many of us do, and I see this post from Moses. August 12th. The city manager of Steamboat and the airport manager have called the FAA to investigate me for finding the missing person. They want to know if I had a license to look for a missing person. That's what I get for finding a missing person, risking my drones, my time, not asking for anything. This is what I get. Are you just going to let them harass me for this? And as you can see, the story that was posted on YouTube from the Denver station that I just played is there. You'll also notice there's 141 comments to Moses' post. Far more than normal. And you'll also find, if you read through them, that they are largely expressions of astonishment. Some people are angry. In my case, I was simply amazed because it didn't make sense. Clearly, this wasn't the beginning of a story. It was the end of a story. It was a Hail Mary pass. There had to be some explanation as to why people in authority would, 6 months after a public good had been done, by somebody who's not even a citizen, but who was acting as if he was one of the best American citizens, would suddenly be in trouble, or an attempt to make him get in trouble. I had to find out why. So Moses and I sat down and I interviewed him and accessed a bunch of information that he was kind enough to share with me. And that's the point of the following videos. How did somebody like him, who had integrated himself into our society so successfully, find himself on the outs so profoundly? All right. So let's go back to the beginning. You move into, you get married, and you move into this duplex. Who's your landlord?
So my landlord is a person from out of state who's supposedly previously long-time Steamboat resident. His name is Dave Kulikowski, and he lives out of state. I don't know, I forget where exactly he lives, but he lives in another state. So we move in and we sign this lease where, and I was told this is illegal, you're not supposed to do this, but our duplex had 2 different tenants on the same electric bill. And I personally had a problem with that up front, and I told the landlord that this is going to be a problem if somebody starts growing pot on the electric bill and tries to have the other party pay that bill, because that's very common in Steamboat. It happens a lot, so that's the one scenario that I knew is not going to work with us. Now, to protect me from that, the landlord, supposedly to protect me from that, he put in the lease that the electricity should be only used for normal household purposes. Now, fast forward to where I had to take him to court for that. They claimed that building a greenhouse outside, and I'll show the pictures of this greenhouse, that's 30 by 50 feet long, wide, heating that from the house electric bill is normal household use of electricity, is what they were going to claim. They say because pot is legal, pot is just like a house plant, although you don't build a 30 by 50 greenhouse for your house plants.
Right.
Normal people don't do that.
No, that didn't
you don't
exist.
spend $300 a month on your house plant's electric bill.
Wait a minute, did that exist before you moved in?
The greenhouse? No.
Okay, so it came afterwards.
That greenhouse to grow pot and sell it. Okay?
That was the tenant below you.
That's the tenant below us that moved in afterwards. So there are a bunch of things that happen to you if you live in a house, in a building where there's constant drug traffic. And by constant, I mean before sunrise, past midnight, traffic never stopped. These people went on vacation for 3 days. The traffic to their house did not stop when they were not even home. Okay, when I went into garage, there was packages of pot food with some cash underneath the box, and people would use a self-service pot dispensary, basically running out of our house. And with that came a lot of crime, a lot of traffic to our house that otherwise wouldn't come. Okay, we lived in the end of a dead-end street.
But you had no idea that it was existing. Was that tenant below you there when you moved in?
So me and my wife moved in there first.
Okay.
We had the electric bill on our name because there's nobody else at the time, and we had the propane, the heating bill on our name and everything. So these tenants moved later, and we were asked if we were okay with them moving in, and at the time, we asked them what they do, and they said the girlfriend was a manager at the pot dispensary, and the guy was a professional grower at the pot dispensary. And I told them up front, like, it would not be okay if they tried to grow pot here, and they promised they weren't going to do that. Now, other than that, I didn't feel that it's appropriate or anything for us to discriminate against somebody because of where they work, right? I didn't assume everybody who works at a pot dispensary is a criminal or a bad person or somebody who's not
I
going
worked
to care.
at a brewery.
Exactly.
Exactly. If I worked at a place that sold liquor,
I wouldn't expect you to be selling that liquor out of our moonshine.
I don't have moonshine in the
Exactly.
backyard. Yes.
Yeah, so we wouldn't expect you to do that.
Yes.
So when they came in, the first relationship between me and landlord started degrading was when the bill came up to over $1,000 that these neighbors owed us because they tripled our electric bill, went to $300, and me and my wife had to cover that because it was on our name. And these people, all we had from them is a promise that they're gonna pay us, nothing in writing. And what I said is like, hey, why don't you guys take one of the bills to be on your name, so in the end of the month there's just a little balance for us to adjust versus us carrying the whole balance for you for months on end.
Right.
And that's when the landlord started telling me that I'm just causing a lot of trouble and this is too much work for him. Apparently he expected just to collect money and never have to do anything. Our bathroom is bad. Had a bad black mold situation that he was supposed to fix, and when he started fixing it, and then he stopped, and he told my wife, it's because your husband is being difficult, we're not gonna fix your bathroom, which is also illegal. That's landlord retaliation. Okay, so I have that documented. After going back and forth with the landlord, telling him about all this drug traffic, the drug dealing from the house and everything, and he said, you know what, I don't care about any of that. If they are doing something illegal, go ahead and call the police. So that after talking to the individual himself, talking to the landlord, and none of them really caring about anything, I called the police.
Now, had you had any problems? Did you have any of the issues with the guy below you, the tenant? In terms of you guys squabbling at all yet, or was it only after you called the police?
No. So before I called the police, several things happened that make me call the police.
Right.
My wife's purse disappears from her car parked outside of our house. That has never happened before. No such thing in Steamboat for 10 years.
Yeah.
Also, this guy busts into my house when I'm gone after I leave for work, yells at my wife, claiming that somebody stole his pot from the garage and everything, at the same time denying that he's selling pot out of the garage.
Because you had a shared door, so he just came out. It wasn't locked.
There is a shared laundry room door in the middle of the house that did not go through our external door, and that door wasn't locked. Okay, but that doesn't give him the right to come into our house.
No, it's just he had a way to get in.
But he got in, exactly. He got in through the inside door, okay, and while I was not home and yelled at my wife, she texted me first thing this morning. He's admitted to it. His girlfriend has admitted to it. The police know about it. The police did not even question him about it. Now think about this. This person is on probation while doing all these things. While he's on probation, he's not supposed to be drinking. He gets drunk every other night and wants to fight me. The police shows up. They know this guy's on probation. He's drunk right there. All three of their body cameras die, so they don't have a video of him being drunk. They don't arrest him. The only thing they say to him, and I have this entire video on body cam that I will also give you, they tell him, if you're dealing drugs, just knock it off.
Did the police turn off their body cams? Well, we have the footage of them doing so right before they talked to the downstairs tenant. This is after they recorded Moses making his complaint about the downstairs tenant, threatening to fight him, calling him out, and Moses said, it's 1 a.m, we just want to be left alone.
Not tonight, but he came outside asking for me to come out, and I did not come out. I just called you guys.
All right. So yeah, if he comes into your house, that's a totally different story. Call us first, and hopefully we can get here before things get bad. But I understand.
I'm just trying to get to bed because I have to work tomorrow.
All right, I'll knock on your door when I get a case number for you. Okay?
No worries. Thank you very much.
All right. Come back up with this ID. So basically, he just.
My body cam just quit.
Mine just died too at the same time.
Fine, guys. I'll take care. Documentation time. What you're seeing is one of the videos, one of many that Moses gave me, documenting the traffic in and out of the garage of his lower floor neighbor. This particular video I'm including because at the very end you'll see the troublesome tenant flipping him off as he walks by the camera.
That's what they tell him. If you're dealing drugs, knock it off. That's what the police will tell you. If you're on probation, getting drunk, harassing your neighbors, selling drugs, Steamboat PD will ask you to knock it off.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
While telling me, also on video, if you don't let this go, you're going to get in trouble.
Documentation time again. Is Moses telling a truthful story? Well, we have the police body cam footage that would appear to say so. Watch.
I'm guessing you know that I came out last week because he's mad about all the
accusations.
Okay. So what is your side of all the transient traffic and the individually bagged marijuana and the money being left behind in the garage and stuff like that? What's your side of the story?
Any of the marijuana was mine, but we have friends over all the time. I don't, it's not transient.
Okay. He's got videos of people out here maybe 2-3 minutes. That's a bit odd.
I understand. I feel like he's a tech guy and he can alter those videos, and you can talk to any of my friends, my girlfriend, my landlord. I have people that would, I've even talked to him about this because I'm
Okay.
totally
Do you
honest. I have nothing
caregive
to
for
hide.
anybody?
Mm-mm.
Like, do you grow anyone else's plants?
No, sir.
Okay, so you're not like
Nope.
like one of your friends is like, hey, I can't grow. Will you grow my 6 plants for me?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
We don't have a huge, he claims to have a huge operation going and stuff. We don't. We don't have, I've never sold drugs in my life. I don't know what type of drugs he thinks we're selling.
Okay. So he sent me a picture of a text message from back in May 27th. You say, hey man, I'm down at Red Rocks. My friend needs 3 ounces. Go in my closet. There's a Tupperware container and there's a scale. Bag up 3 ounces. And then I gave him your number and he's going to stop by and get it. And he says, what do you want me to do with it once I've bagged it up? And you said, hey, this guy's going to call you. So
Sorry, I don't really remember that happening.
Okay. Do you want to see the conversation? I have a picture of it.
No. Sir, I really have to get to work. If we're going to talk about this, I'd like to have a lawyer present. I'm not trying. I want to totally cooperate with you.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you my business card, and when you and your lawyer want to set up a meeting, certainly let me know.
I'll talk to you because I really do have nothing to hide.
Okay. I've already obviously left a message with Scott. I don't know if Scott's contacted you at all. Scott Curtin, but they get a hit anytime we run your name and stuff like that. So I left him a message last Friday just saying, hey, this is the report I'm getting. It's in its infancy, but I am going to investigate it. And I talked to Dave about it, and basically I think everybody's on the same page of if you're doing it, cut the shit out and be good neighbors.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I've always.
I'm not going to say that I'm not going to investigate somebody dealing drugs in my community, but obviously the pictures of money underneath things look suspicious. So I don't want to go any further since you want your counsel, which is totally within your rights. I don't want to make you do anything you don't want to do. So
after that footage, the police go to talk to Moses. And what you'll hear is frustration on the part of the police. Now, this is obviously an edited video because you don't want to see the whole thing. We'd be sitting here for hours. There's a lot of footage. But listen to this interaction.
All right, give me some time.
No worries.
Right?
No problem.
You got to check your temper. I'm telling you that right now. You got to check.
This has been going on for months.
I understand that. And Dave is giving you the opportunity to move out. So if it's pissing you off that bad, move out.
Yeah,
if not,
move out too.
okay, that's obviously it. But if you keep getting yourself this wound up, you're going to end up getting in trouble. This is the same conversation we had last week. If you keep getting wound up and you keep getting upset, you've got to temper, Mosey.
All I asked for
okay?
was to get access to my stuff that I was illegally locked out of. That's all
Okay.
I asked for.
That's another civil issue, okay? All right?
Yeah.
We're happy to help you, but every time we come over here, like with Officer Bosick last night, with me last week, you're so wound tight and you're so all over the place. And I'm not saying you don't have the right to be frustrated. What I'm saying is that's not helping anything. Because when you get yourself wound up and then I start talking to you and you're over here and you're over here and you're over here and you're over here, it's hard to follow you, okay? So when you get into one of these situations with these other folks that live here, you need to go take 5 minutes, whatever else. I'm happy. Email me as much stuff as you want. I've started looking at the videos. I've started looking at the text messages, okay? I'm working on it. But like I said, keep instigating the problem. You're not helping yourself or the situation. And he's obviously...
me out of my place.
Okay, and he...
And flag in front of my window. Who's instigating things?
Okay.
Okay.
So, now, see, that's the interesting part of this. So this guy's got a record, and they're letting him go. Now, there's a reason they're letting him go, because they know who his landlord is, right?
The landlord has called the police. So when I call the police about these drug dealing, for some reason the police calls the landlord.
Right.
Okay. Now where in the whole legal system does anybody's landlord come in? If there's a murder outside my yard, you're gonna call the landlord, ask about who's the murderer?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna investigate and find out who the murderer is? So they call the landlord and he says, oh, that Moses guy is a troublemaker. Get rid of him instead. It's like, oh, that drug dealing, we're not too concerned about. It's a victimless crime.
Well, that's what we'll be
get
doing.
you the footage.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you see the whole footage, don't want to talk to him, no problem. I guess we can't ask you any more questions. Don't ask him again. Don't talk to him again. Meanwhile, coming back to me, telling me, if you don't let this go, you're gonna get in trouble. Now,
Under
the police,
what basis do you think?
Under not letting this go.
Okay.
That's what the
'Cause you're
basis
just-
is.
okay.
That's my thought. The cop tells me, other than this whole thing, he says, when he turns off his camera, he says, we're not going to do anything about this. And now that you've called the cops on him for selling drugs, he's going to know that and he's going to be harassing you. So we recommend you move.
You
Okay?
get out.
You get
Yeah.
out. Now you've told us that this guy's selling drugs. We gotta tell him that you told us that he's selling drugs. So he's
Yes.
gonna be harassing you. So you should move. You
Rather
shouldn't
than
defend
saying-
your family.
yes.
You shouldn't take a baseball bat to his head. You shouldn't go burst into his house and yell at his wife. You should just move like a good, willing victim. So then we make some room for the next victims.
Nobody will ever accuse Moses of being a good, willing victim. He fought back. And we're going to find out how and what I think is the source of some of the elite's anger against him in the next video.